Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wilhelmina. The time here is 4:17 in the afternoon. Today is Sunday, October 23rd, 2022. Wilhelmina works 7 days a week because I'm on the global communication. I'm in Global Village. This is my online store. I welcome this particular buyer to Bamako Mali. Yesterday, on his time, and last night, my time, we have a conference, a very good conference. And this buyer, he's been searching for gold supply. And he was very hesitant to deal with any seller and any broker. And when he searched supply on YouTube, because YouTube is very, very popular, you can buy product, you search on YouTube, you search on Google, you search on Facebook. YouTube and Facebook are the best site. Why the best? Everybody has a Facebook. Everybody. Whether you put your pictures on your family or selling. Yesterday, what is Saturday? We have a garage sale. And we put that on garage sale site on Brisbane. And I assisted my partner, my darling, to sell the things of his mother, because my mother-in-law passed away 1 month ago, and she has a cancer. So all the gear of my mother-in-law was put on garage sale. Some was given to Salvation Army, some was given to St. Vincent. So I'm just giving you to share about how this platform works for you, buyers and sellers. So we advertise on Facebook. 50% of my mother-in-law's thing, bits and pieces, cutlery, electric fan, drawer, was being sold 50%. Here in Australia, everything now is online. Africa is behind. And the buyer, as well, international buyer, was surprised how he gonna get the supply. So this particular buyer, he was searching on my YouTube channel. My video popped up onto his screen. So he was been analyzing. He did send me an email. And he said, Wilhelmina, I watched your video on YouTube and I went to your Facebook platform. I'm convinced that your seller is real. I convinced that you are really transparent. He did send me an email. And he did attach all his credential, his business registration, his license, his passport copy, his financial bank statement, in order for him to convince me. Because I am the gatekeeper. I am going to analyze who you are. I'm going to validate who you are. So when he was watching my video and he clicked below on my YouTube and he went to my Facebook because there is a link, he read the full corporate offer. He fully understood that gold is not for credit. Gold is not cost, insurance, and freight. This is cash business. So he convinced me, and he added me on Skype because he wanted to see me again whether I'm real. And he said, yes, Wilhelmina, you're real. The same as what I watch on your YouTube channel. So he has a lot of questions. And I've given him the opportunity to remove his doubt. Because he was doubtful, because he heard a lot of misinformation about Africa. Yes, it's true. Africa has been tarnished by the seller, and Africa has been tarnished by the buyer, vice versa. Why the seller tarnish Africa? The seller offer you guys cheap price, pay taxes. That's wrong. You cannot pay taxes until you say the products, until you taste the gold, until you're gonna have an export documentation plus government sales tax. You have to pay the product plus government sales tax. That is the story. So he was asking question and he still have a doubt, and then it's okay. That's why we have a communication, right? You cannot just buy goods without asking question. So if you're a buyer, download the Skype because I want to see you. Now be aware, Mr. Buyer, because some joker broker, they copied my information, they copied my picture so that he can capture you, Mr. Buyer. Don't do that. You need to be watchful. You add me on WhatsApp or Skype or bottom. I prefer to talk to you on Skype. If you're in Dubai, bottom is only allowed. WhatsApp is only for chat. But you need to buy, to call this, services. In Dubai, you can you can chat on Skype, but you have to buy some network. But that's not my job. I'm just sharing you. But bottom is allowed in Dubai. Now this buyer, he's a German, and he added me on Skype. And so, Wilhelmina, thank you. I found you. I said, oh, really? And we chat, and he asked a lot of questions. He's a buyer. He's a real buyer. And he opened a company in Dubai because he's a gold trader, buy and sell. His client is a refinery or jewelry manufacturer. That is not our business. Our business is, we have the gold, you have the money. That is our business. There is no upfront in this gold business or diamond. There's none. You have to pay the item plus government sales tax. So what happened last night? We have a long conversation before I connected him to our financial controller, and he was satisfied. He met my financial controller, and he was been asked how he is going to pay, and he asked how the gold to be delivered in Dubai. Very clear and simple. Yeah. My seller in Bamako Mali has been in gold business for many, many years. Before this private refinery came into Bamako Mali. Right? The gold has to be assayed at the government refinery called DNGM. And if you're using private company, private refinery, that is your call, because we don't deal private refinery. You can only deal with me or with us when I'm on the ground. Why? The seller would not deal private refinery. That is a competition. And you need to have an open account to that particular private refinery because you are using their services. Now, Mr. Buyer, I know you have a difficulty in dealing with Bamako Mali because you want to shortcut the deal. This buyer from Germany, he owned a company in Dubai. He doesn't want to cut corner. He followed. So, he's going to get the gold from Bamako Mali, the second largest gold producer in West Africa. Used to be the Mali is the third largest. Today is no longer. Now they are now second largest. Why? Bamako Mali is very progressive. There's a lot of mining company positioning themselves in Bamako Mali. In fact, there are 3 Australian refinery from Perth, right? They're positioning themselves, their company in Bamako Mali. 3 company. That is not my job. I'm just only sharing you that there's a lot of mining company positioning themselves in Bamako Mali. Canadian company, Australian mining company, German mining company, Russian mining company, Chinese mining company. Why they're there? There is business. There's a huge deposit of gold boundary to Sigeri and Bamako Mali. Now let's talk about this Bamako Mali because I want to share with you guys this buyer that I have conference last night. He's a real buyer. Real buyer. Why? He showed me his bank statement that he has $1 million. A real buyer would not be scared to show his financial capacity. Only fake buyers are scared to show his identity. They are not a buyer. They are launderer. They wanted to rip off Africa. Yeah, you can rip off Africa. The seller will rip you off as well. Especially if you're asking CIF. Especially if you're asking his BLC. His BLC means standard letter of credit. You don't have the cash. You don't. You're asking CIF, you don't have the cash. You can only afford to pay cost insurance and freight, but you cannot afford to pay the products. Yes, I'm telling you. This buyer, he can afford, he has $1 million. More than $1 million. So that is his background. But you, most of you brokers, you cut and paste, you solicit running around, running around, you still landed to Wilhelmina, because Wilhelmina is the only person who showed her face, and the full corporate offer is already in front of you. The old joker broker. If you are not paying attention, you will be rejected by Wilhelmina. You search on YouTube, you bump into my video, and if you're not reading and you just said, Wilhelmina, I'm the buyer, pretending to be a buyer, believe me, you will be rejected if you don't answer my question. If you come on WhatsApp or Skype or Botem or Messenger and you don't know how to introduce yourself, hi, my name is not hi. My name is Wilhelmina Ford. Just like this German buyer. He introduced himself properly. He sent me his credential by email. He sent me all his information. That is a real buyer. Don't say me hello, how are you? My name is not hello. Yeah? You are a professional broker or a buyer, you need to introduce yourself. And you're gonna say, oh, I have a buyer. Aha, you have a buyer. Did you read the full corporate offer on my YouTube or on Facebook? Not really. Go back and read. Because I'm not going to expand anymore. Because everything now is online. Now going back to this buyer that I have conference last night. He met the criteria. The standard is very clear. He said to me, Wilhelmina, your standard is very simple and clear. I said, really? Yeah. There's no way that the buyer can get gold CIF. And I told him, gold is not for a small timer. This is not for banana business. This is a real business. You're buying money to make money. This is what I have said last night. So the buyer from Germany, he is a buyer. We are on the process to send him a contract. You know when you send me your credential, Mr. Buyer? After you watch this video, every video there is a requirement. Every video there's a full corporate offer. If you don't read the full corporate offer, to me you're not a buyer. Really. When you bump into this video, whoever you are, send me an email, introduce who you are. Your credential is the most important. As I've said to you, you have to read the full corporate offer because the full corporate offer was really explained thoroughly, just like an elementary. Impossible you wouldn't understand. Just like this German buyer, he sent me his business registration, his importation license, certificate of his business, passport copy, bank statement that he has $1 million. That is a real business. So I sent him an email that I received your email well noted. And I asked him, download the Skype because I want to see you. He did download his Skype ID. And he called me, he opened his camera. He's a good looking guy. He's a businessman. That is the type of buyer Wilhelmina is looking for. That is the type of buyer that Wilhelmina will deal for. Excuse me. So, this buyer, he met the criteria. So, I'm preparing all the informations of the seller because I am the gatekeeper. The gate will be open to you guys if you convince Wilhelmina. Why? Wilhelmina will determine whether you're a buyer or not. Then Wilhelmina will advise the seller to proceed or not to proceed. So this German buyer, I put this German buyer to Bamako Mali because Bamako Mali is the second largest gold producer and my seller have tons of gold. So last night I said to the buyer, you're a big buyer and you want a long-term supply, start a trial. Don't be excited. Start a trial 10 kilos, then you increase gradually. He said, yeah, you're right, Mrs. Ford. Thank you for guiding me, Mrs. Ford. And I told him, well, you're paying my services. Yeah. And I told him, do not travel without Wilhelmina. Even though you read the full corporate offer because African seller is very hard to deal with. African seller is a fickle-minded. It doesn't matter if he's my seller or not. I've been to Africa. I know the mentality of African seller. They're a jealous person. They don't want me to talk to any seller. Oh, madam, be careful, be careful. I don't like that, Mr. Seller. Watch out this video. When I bring the buyer, welcome the buyer. Don't be scared. Don't be envy. Because a minute you envy, meaning to say, you are not really a good person to deal with. Just welcome. Because I am your mandate, Mr. Seller. And I'm also the business facilitator of the buyer. So you need my services, Mr. Seller. And the buyer needs my services. My services is very unique. Because no way that you will find a joker broker like this, Mr. Buyer. No way, Mr. Seller, whoever you are. I know you've been hungry to sell your products. Gold is money. Buyers buying money to make money. And you are also mining in order to increase the production. So I'm speaking in general. So Mr. Seller, if you're watching me, I know your country. But you're careless. You have a very bad time management. You have a very bad approach. You have a very bad approach. I don't know, Mr. Seller, how you're gonna be progress if you have a very bad approach. You hired Wilhelmina in order to assist you to market. But I'm not happy as well. Some of my seller, I already terminated. I terminated my seller in Ghana. I would not touch Ghana. Why? I was being screwed and I was being scammed big time. That was my bad experience. I also terminated my seller in Conakry. I have 3 sellers in Conakry. 2 was being terminated, 1 is left. Now, whoever the seller in Conakry, you want Wilhelmina services? Be prompt, be honest, be transparent. Because if you ask Wilhelmina, I have the gold, please handle me. I have to interview you. You download Skype. Because I've been to your country. I've been to Sierra Leone. I've been to Conakry. I've been to Ghana, to Mali. I'm traveling to Bamako, Mali next month. I'm bringing 2 buyers. One from United States and one from Dubai. Most of the buyers in Dubai, they love to go to Ghana. But Ghana, their gold is coming from border to border, smuggled. Why Ghana has a lot of refinery? There are 14 refineries in Ghana. They are refining the gold because the government give the refinery tax incentive. And you're using Ghana refinery as well to test the gold. So I'm not going to elaborate. I'm just giving you a brief that I was being a victim before. I'm not a scammer. Because if I'm a scammer, I'm not going to show my face. Only those buyers are scammers hiding their faces. Only those buyers dealing with so many chain of joker broker, they're part of the scam. The meaning of scam means deceive. You're deceitful, Mr. Buyer, as well. This video is in generalized. Why you are deceitful? You're asking for cheap price. You're asking for CIF, cost, insurance, and freight. You don't have the money. You're a trader. You must have a capital in order to get the profit. This buyer that I have spoken last night at very good conference, spot on. He's a real buyer. He showed his credential. He doesn't deal with broker joker because we are now on the global communication. If you have an internet, you have a computer, you have the phone, you want to buy gold and diamond, just search it. My video pop up into your screen, Mr. Buyer. Yeah. Mr. Seller, you have also difficulty convincing the buyer. That is why you hired Wilhelmina. So I have two positions. I'm the buyer facilitator and the seller facilitator. My platform is very unique. Very unique. Most of you joker broker are copying my style. You cannot copy my style because this is real. In Australia, when we sell, we put everything online. We sell property, it's online. Right. So I have so many inquiry. This joker broker from Nigeria. Yeah. He doesn't understand. He keep on following my YouTube, still doesn't comprehend. I called him joker broker. This guy from Nigeria. Most of you guys thinking that you can make money. Yes, you can make money if the buyer is real. If you're just floating around on the group chat with WhatsApp, you're all joker to me. Because I'm not joking. I'm very brutal. I'm very frank. Oh, madam, I have a buyer. How much is my commission? No? I prefer to deal directly to the buyer. Why? I prefer to give the buyer a very good negotiation price. Our selling price on gold, less 8% based on the world market, LBMA. And you're gonna say, oh, too expensive. Of course, you're buying expensive item. Yes. I can give you 10% because I'm charging you, Mr. Buyer. My travel cost is not cheap. I do charge you, Mr. Buyer, $15,000 just for my trip to accompany you. And if you cannot afford to pay my $15,000, then you don't have money to pay the gold. Yes, you don't. I don't ask you commission. I only charge you my travel cost because I'm charging my seller, my works. So the extra service is peanut to you, Mr. Buyer. It's peanut. Which one you like, Mr. Buyer? 8% you travel yourself. Yeah? I will monitor your movement, but if there is an issue, don't come back to Wilhelmina. And your 15,000 is non-refundable, whether successful or not. That is the reason why I changed my policy. You come on Skype, download your Skype. I want to meet you, Mr. Buyer, first. Then, when I'm satisfied, I will connect you. I will have a conference. I will ask the seller to come online on WhatsApp or Skype, but I prefer on Skype. So, Mr. Seller, if you're watching me, do not hide yourself. Do not say, I'm busy. Wilhelmina is very, very busy. I work 7 days a week just to promote Africa. And if you're too slow, Mr. Seller, get out because I'm going to terminate you. Yeah. I would not mention the name of the seller that I have terminated. In Conakry, 2 I terminated. Only 1 left. I know ins and out of Conakry. I know. The 2 sellers that I terminated, they're real. Why I terminated them? They have a very bad time management. They have a very bad business protocol. They only think about money. They don't think about long term. They are short-sighted. And then when the buyer has a company, they don't want to deal with. Mr. Seller, you have a very bad attitude. To me, I don't care if the buyer has a company registered in Africa. Why? He wanted to ship by himself. As long as the buyer pay, Mr. Seller. As long. 8%, yeah, Mr. Buyer, you can buy 8%. Taste the gold first. You're happy, you transfer the payment bank to bank. The buyer has a bank account in the particular country, but the seller doesn't want to deal with. That's crazy. Mr. Seller, you're mad. You wanted this buyer to be invited, doesn't matter, because I'm with this buyer. I know the buyer. The most important that the buyer been validated. In Conakry, Mr. Seller, you have a very bad business management. Very bad. That is why you have less progress. Now, Mr. Buyer that I have communicated last night, let us travel next month in Bamako. I can assure you that you will be happy. I fired the seller in Conakry. I also fired the seller in Sierra Leone. I have several sellers in Sierra Leone. The particular seller, she's very careless. Very. She's been in business, but still, she doesn't know how to handle the buyer. Only rushing, money, money, money. Money will come when the buyer is happy. Yes, that's right. So going back to this buyer that I have, he has $1 million, he showed me. And that is small buyer as well. If you have less capital, don't be involved in this business because you're gonna be broke. If you're waiting for the gold to arrive in Dubai, you're there in Dubai stuck already, eh? You're gonna be broke if you're not very careful. Yes, and then you're gonna sit down in Dubai, bring the gold, and then you pay taxes. The gold will not come. I'm telling you. There was one person. I will not mention the name of that person. That person traveled to Conakry, failure. That person, he dealt with the buyer and his gold stranded in Ghana as a transit, failure. Okay, and then he's dealing with so many offer. That person is a buyer, but I'm not going to mention whether she's a woman or not. I'm just in generalize. That person sitting down in Dubai pretending to be a buyer. Yes, he was dealing with the seller, pay taxes. What happened? The gold didn't arrive. Mr. Buyer, you're watching me. You know me. But you want to cut corner. You want to become instant millionaire. What happened? You're stuck. What happened? Your gold is stuck in Ghana. What happened? The diamond and gold didn't arrive. Yeah, I know you, but I would not mention your name. There's also a seller that careless. The buyer lost money and the gold and diamond didn't arrive because the cut corner. Mr. Buyer, you're paying $15,000 of my travel cost. I would be with you at the end of the day. I will not leave the country unless the gold leave the country of origin. This is what my policy this time, because I have already been deceived by the seller. I'm not going to mention the seller. Mr. Seller, you have a very bad business management. Very bad. What's the point in business if you have no good time management? I know your people are sitting down on the chair waiting. It wouldn't work. Mr. Seller in Bamako Mali, I will train you properly. I will share my expertise. I will educate you and I will give you my knowledge worth $1 million. Mr. Buyer, you're a winner to meet Wilhelmina. You are. Because I already given you the knowledge why you cannot get the gold in Africa. Very simple, Mr. Buyer. If you have the capital, you can get the gold. And don't be selfish and don't be greedy as well. Both buyers and sellers, don't be greedy, don't be selfish. I am here to assist both parties. I'm very kind and generous. You're gonna say, Mr. Buyer, how much is the price? Last night, my seller says the price is 8%. Yeah, I'm right. The 8% based on the world market. Whatever the price of the world market, less 8%. Because you're going to take Wilhelmina with you and I charge you $15,000 this time, non-refundable, I will negotiate to my head office to give you 10 to 11%. When you resell it, you have still profit, good profit. Yeah. And then you increase that in a year's time, your profit is 85%. Yeah. I can give you 11%. You sell it to 2% in Dubai. You have a profit of 9%. Which one you like, Mr. Buyer? 8% without Wilhelmina? And if there is an issue, you stumble down. And if I'll be with you, if there is an issue, I can find a backup. Mr. Buyer, you don't need to be selfish as well. You said, oh, too expensive. Of course, you're buying expensive item. When you resell it to Dubai or whatever, to the refinery will pay whatever the price of the day, at least 2%. Yeah. So where are you going to find a broker like this, Mr. Buyer? Mr. Seller, this is also for you. You need to deal with Wilhelmina properly, so that you will not be terminated. There's so many sellers asking my services. And I said to my seller, convince me. There's so many sellers come to Wilhelmina. They have gold and diamond. But I will bring buyer when the seller is really transparent. My seller in Bamako Mali, very transparent. Very, very. Mr. Buyer, don't be scared. I'm a woman. When I travel to Africa, I don't have a security guard. I don't. Because once you're going to be invited, you are a valued customer of the seller, of mine. Don't be scared because you're not bringing money too much. You only bring $10,000 because you're only allowed. The payment must be bank-to-bank payment in order to reflect the cash inflow that you have paid the gold to the seller, in order the seller to show to his government that he is going to get the clearance, certificate of clearance. You're going to say, well, let me know. What is the requirement? My gosh, the requirement is in front of you. You just read it, comprehend it properly. I expand it properly. When you come for conference, I want you to download Skype. I want to see you. Don't hide your face, Mr. Buyer. This buyer last night, he's a German buyer. He has a company in Dubai. He met the criteria. That is the best. He's happy. And he said, Wilhelmina, I don't have any problem paying your services because I want to get the gold. I registered my company in Dubai. I have a big buyer to supply. I told this buyer, come to Mali. So then I connected this buyer to a financial controller. He's happy. Very happy. So I think I already explained Mr. Buyer and Mr. Seller. What's out, Wilhelmina? What's out? Whoever you are, I'm not mentioning your name. I just sharing and informing that this is in general. But Mr. Seller, you're watching Wilhelmina, you have a very bad business management. Really, very bad. When I travel, Mr. Seller, to bring buyer, you valued the customer, you valued Wilhelmina because Wilhelmina flying million miles away from Australia to bring you buyer, and then you don't even entertain. I was the one who entertained the buyer. Yeah, you have a very bad business management, Mr. Seller. Very bad. That's why I terminated you. You're a big company, but I don't know why you're rascal. I called you rascal, man. You're very rush. You only think about money. The money will not come unless the buyer is satisfied. How are you able to pay your workers if the buyer will not pay you? So you treasure Wilhelmina and the buyer. I am on the middle here, Mr. Seller, as well. So my buyer last night is happy with my Bamako seller. Yeah, we have tons of gold. Mr. Buyer, come with Wilhelmina. Book your conference with me. Open your camera. Let's talk about Bamako Mali via Skype. And I'm traveling to Sierra Leone as well for diamond. I'll take you to Bamako Mali. Yeah? Because Bamako Mali have tons of gold, have 10,000 kilos, 10 tons of gold. Start a trial gradually. Yeah? Come with me. Don't be worried about my seller. My seller hired Wilhelmina to handle marketing. Meaning to say, the seller is real. And be real, Mr. Buyer. Now, this buyer last night, fantastic. He met the criteria. I will not deal with the fake buyers anymore, pretending to be a buyer. And I will not deal with joker broker anymore. We're almost ending 2022. Mr. Buyer, bank now while the price of gold is down. 2023, the gold will bounce back. As I've said to you on my previous video on YouTube, the price of gold changes every day. Take advantage while the price is down at the moment. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good morning to you. Africa, good morning. Dubai, good afternoon. In Asia, good evening. In Europe, good morning. In Australia, good afternoon. Thank you very much. And I shall see you in WhatsApp as well to chat. But I prepare you add me on Skype. Open your camera. Let's do the video call on the record for Wilhelmina's eyes only. Open your camera. Don't be scared. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good afternoon.